Go Poganon Quain edition of Cosmungdo Dam. Hi everybody. Once again, it's Sandy Boucher, Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan. I'm a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario, and I'm here today with yet another episode of Surviving Isolation. We are doing the August 21st episode today as of recording time, and that is episode 23. 23 days. It's 23 days, 23 weeks since I started this. And I don't know, what did you think when we first went into isolation, when the pandemic was first declared? How long did you think it was going to last? Did you go total panic mode and thought it was going to be the rest of our lives? Or did you think people were overreacting and it would be over in a couple of weeks? I honestly, thinking back to that time, which was a time of absolute panic, there is no other way to describe it. I watched my business dissolve before my eyes that I had worked on building for a decade. I had no idea what the future held, and at the same time I was totally happy that I was healthy and that my family was healthy. That's going to be the title of today's show. Anyways, before I say another word, welcome to all my viewers and listeners. If you're listening to this on Sandy Boucher, the podcast, I absolutely appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for checking it out. Give it a like if you like the show, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. That's all important. Then you don't need to go looking for new videos. They notify you when a new video is posted. I kind of like the notifications. Keeps me on track without me having to worry about it. I don't have enough room left in my brain to remember all that stuff. And of course, if you're watching this on Shaw Spotlight, I love you. Thank you so much for welcoming me back into your homes. I'm looking forward to the time when I can safely travel to your communities and municipalities again without freaking anyone out, when we're at the point where we feel safe in doing that. So I look forward to that time. Now, mental health check-in. How are you doing? How are you doing with this stage 3? How are you doing? How are you doing work-wise? How are you doing relationship-wise? You getting along with your partner? How are your kids are doing? School's right around the corner. I know I have the opportunity. I'm going to be teaching at Con College again this year, but I'm going to be doing it virtually, which is kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of used to doing videos, so that's going to be cool. But I don't know how the students feel about that. I think students that are used to YouTube, okay, fine. Depends how long they're used to sitting and watching YouTube. I don't know a lot about the restrictions and the details for the students going into elementary and secondary school. Heard a lot of different definitions and different takes on the restrictions and what's being put in place and what's being expected of the students. It's a confusing time, and my heart goes out to you. So how are you doing? I hope you found a way to get through all of that. So today, one of the things, anyone who follows my career, you know that I'm all about authenticity. This is me. Okay, granted, makeup, hair, trying to look a little decent. You saw the one video when I didn't. I wouldn't do that to you. But this is me. This is me, and look at the pile of papers, and there's a pile of stuff back there, and I don't even know what this red folder is, and I don't even want to look at it right now. And that's what this show is about. It's almost like a rant of what's going on in my life, and maybe you'll be able to relate to that. Before we get into that, though, I do want to do the statistics because there's a fact I have to correct this episode. So that's super, super important. First off, we all know March 11th was the day the World Health Organization declared the pandemic. That's when the news, that was the headline all over the papers, all over the internet, wherever you turn, that was the news. 156 days ago. Now, for me, my world changed personally, and it was already that last week was really bizarre. I had 4 events booked. I was traveling around, and I know the last one, I was actually up in Dryden. Kudos to anyone watching this in that area. And it was a youth event, and we were all kind of on edge. Should we be there? Should we be at home? Are we allowed to hug? How close do we get to each other? Is this safe? Everyone was making different decisions. I believe that day, Treaty 3, which was the area we were in, issued the order that all public gatherings were now shut down. The seminar ended early to allow the students to travel home safely. But it was just such a period of unknowing. So that was my last event on March 13th. March 14th, I went into self-isolation, which is 153 days ago. Now, I don't want to imply that I'm still isolated, although I don't go out. I go out with my son, or I go out to see my daughter. I don't go into stores. I was actually in a grocery store for the very first time this week, the first time since March. There's new stores that have opened in the city that I wanted to check out that I just haven't done yet. I order things online. I have a friend that picks up his groceries every Thursday and picks up mine as well. Life changed. So I'm going to keep going with that stat because I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to keep going, as long as we're surviving isolation in this pandemic, I guess. The last statistic is the one I need to make a change on, and that was to do with Ontario's state of emergency. As I've said 100 different times, it was March 17th when Premier Ford declared the state of emergency. Now, I did some research because I was wondering, with all these stages, did that end? And it actually did. It was Bill 195, which was called the Reopening of Ontario Act, and that's what introduced stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. That came into effect on July 24th. So actually the state of emergency in Ontario is officially over with these stages of reopening, and it lasted 129 days. Now, as disturbing as it is or was to live under a state of emergency, I don't know about you, but my heart and mind goes out to all of those northern remote communities who have lived under various states of emergency for ages. And to the point where it's become a part of life, and that should not happen. I'm sorry. I just do not believe that should happen we're not in a third world country, even though those communities, some of them are forced to live under third world conditions. State of emergency for suicide, state of emergency over the water often, state of emergency because of the fires. I believe we have a couple First Nations on evacuation orders right now, staying in the city, so my heart goes out to them as well. That is not easy. If you think it is, well, realize how unnerving this pandemic was. Imagine having to evacuate because your house might burn down. I don't care where you're going. Everyone prefers being at home, and that's the reality for those people. So my heart goes out to them. So that's the statistics with all the corrections. So let's talk about this. I needed to do that. Thank you for allowing me to do that. So what's going on in my world? Chaos. That's about the only way I could sum it up. The reality, I just moved, and I did the numbers this morning. I'm all about the numbers today, I guess. Playing in Excel this morning. So definitely all about the numbers. But This weekend will be 2 weeks since I moved, and I had to do that to remind myself it's only been 2 weeks. And it hasn't been 2 weeks that I've been focused on unpacking. It's 2 weeks that I've been running my life, running my business, doing what needs to be done, and trying to unpack on the sidelines. And I don't do it alone. My son has been absolutely amazing. My son-in-law helped haul a lot of things. My best friend was instrumental in helping out. So there's that. I still don't know where some things are. I haven't found them yet. I guess as the rest of the boxes get unpacked, there's always something missing. So I can think of one specific thing that I need for my seminars next week, and I'm really hoping I find it. So anyway, so that's one. I just moved. 2, now this is stressful as well as great at the same time. And isn't that funny? Even good news can be incredibly stressful, and we need to remember that. Business is picking up. It's end of August. Summers have always been slow for me. Not a lot of people doing training and workshops during the summer or want to attend. They want to be out at camp. And this year they may not have been able to go to camp, but we weren't doing live events, so that wasn't going to happen. August, everyone's coming back into that mode. End of August, I should say. So September is picking up. There's business coming in the door. Thank God. Ooh. Excuse me, why am I always yawning when I do this? Maybe I don't breathe properly. Don't get enough air in. Have to focus on that. Thank the Almighty that my assistant is back at work. We talked about it. She felt comfortable coming here to work. I'm the only one in my home. We sanitize things. I know how many people she's exposed to. So I just could not do this time without her. And actually, she's been out of town this week. And I sent her a message. Please tell me you're coming in. I need your help. And she is. So business is picking up. But the move, business is picking up. And then the big one, because I sat down this morning and I thought, why am I stressing so bad? Like what? Like, it's not like I haven't been busy before. And I've definitely been busier than I am right now. I'm pretty busy, but I've been insanely busy in the past. March tends to be a really insane month for me. And that's when I realized I'm out of practice. And I'm wondering how many of you can say that. Like, have you recently returned to work and now it seems kind of foreign? Your vibe is off. You don't have the routines you used to do. And I think that's super important to remember. I know just in my life, the times I've moved, especially like when I moved to Toronto from Thunder Bay, the reason that transition wasn't as difficult as it could have been was that I focused on the fact that I was in Toronto, that I was not in Thunder Bay, that this was going to be a totally different situation, and I couldn't expect the same. I couldn't apply the same processes, the same routines, because it wasn't going to work in this new environment. And that's where I'm going through right now. So the work's coming back in. I do my first live event next week since all of this started. I have a video event on Sunday, but then the live event 3 days next week. And getting the packages together, doing this, all of this that was second nature. The fact that we're in a new place, the fact that not everything's unpacked, the fact that it's been ages since I've done this. It's nuts. It's just nuts. So this is me acknowledging that. This is me taking a second to just acknowledge it. And it is the weekend. So, and for some people that means you're not working. For me, it means it is time to organize my desk, to find out what's on here, all the things I printed and just set aside to deal with. My assistant's coming in. I know she's going to take 5 minutes, and the packages for the seminar are going to be ready, and it's going to be amazing because she's amazing. But right now, maybe I should eat too. Maybe this is hangry. I don't feel angry. Frustrated. Yeah, overwhelmed, maybe, not angry. So how are you doing? Like, Again, the routines, it's coming up on September. The kids are going back to school. That part is normal. But we're not in a normal situation, and the school is not going to be the same as it always was. I know here in Thunder Bay, the soccer teams are practicing again, and there's a field close to where I live. And I don't know about you, but I get freaked out every time I drive by and I don't see the masks to match the people. And it's like, okay, you know what? Complacency really could kill us in this case. No, we don't have the cases here, but if you're asymptomatic and someone went out of town or someone's traveling through, it would be so easy for those numbers to change. And we're seeing that in other regions. So please, 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 please continue to be careful. Stay at home if you can. Go out when needed. Go to places that are needed. When you do, wear your mask. Minimize the public things that you're touching. That's how it's transmitted, right? By touch. You touch something, then you touch your nose or your mouth, and right? So I have hand sanitizer in my car if I go out, and it sits right next to me in the console. So as soon as I get back in my car, I'm applying the hand sanitizer. I know when I go get my nails done, the very first thing I have to do, for one, there's no one else in the shop but me and my technician. But as soon as I walk in, I have to wash my hands. That's part of her care standards. I came up with 6 care standards for my seminars to ensure that people would be safe. And I'm trying to remember the 6 now. That I don't do an event more than, there has to be 2 weeks in between public events, to ensure that if God forbid I were to pick up something in one community, I don't bring it to another. 2, that the community or agency or municipality or whoever that hires me has the right to ask, and I will provide the information on where the last 3 public events were so that they are able to determine whether it's risky or not, and I totally respect that. The room has to be big enough, it has to be big enough to allow for social distancing, so 1 person per table. I provide hand sanitizer to absolutely everyone for use. I forgot one. There's, for those people, the staff that are still not comfortable attending, a staff person has my permission to tape, to record the seminar so that the people that are not in attendance can watch it. That's one. And what else did I miss? Oh, I know what it is. No passing anymore. So many of my icebreaker games was like pass the cards to each other or throw a ball to each other, and anything that is an item that a bunch of people have to touch, I've eliminated, because that's how it transfers, right? So we have to think of these things. We have to, in one way, I'm out of practice. In another way, it's all brand new. Is this what first day on the job feels like? It's been so long, I don't remember, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I'm stressing. So that's life in Sandiland right now. I'm so incredibly thankful for the work. I'm so incredibly thankful. I'm so looking forward to my live event and actually interacting with people again. I love the video work. I love that I get to help so many different agencies and groups learn safely over their computer so their stress level stays down. I absolutely love that. But it's a strange time, and it's changing. I don't know about you, but I think that's part of the problem. Yes, we want to reopen and we want to get there, but you can't get used to something that's constantly moving and changing. And that's what this pandemic has been like, this constant. When we got used to self-isolation, we had stage 1. When we got used to stage 1, it was stage 2. Stage 2 became stage 3. Now we're debating, do we stay in stage 3? Like, how are the numbers going? Feel free, do that with me. Walk up to your television, or maybe you want to turn it down when I do it, but you should do it. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you just need to, right? You just absolutely need to. So, as I said, that's life in Sandiland this week. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to this weekend and getting organized. I'm looking forward to my assistant being absolutely amazing. I am thankful for my new home and for the work and for this career and for this opportunity, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't come with stress. In the same way that I know for those of you out there who have families and children, you're thankful for them. You're thankful for that beautiful 2-year-old. You're thankful for that teenager. Doesn't mean they're not stressful. You may be incredibly thankful for your life partner. Doesn't mean they can't be stressful a time or two or 10 million, whichever the case may be, right? Just because it's not a lack of gratitude, because I do appreciate and love everything I have, and I count my blessings every single day as my mama taught me to. But I'm also being authentic and acknowledging the stress that comes with it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So, but that's it for this week. Short and sweet. No! Because I have an insane desk I have to get to, and I have to get ready before my assistant gets here and make sure she has a clean spot to work, because it's been nuts. Please take care of you. Please take care of your family. Remember, wear your masks. Minimize your travel. Do what you need to do to feel comfortable and safe while respecting the other people. I know every time I see someone wearing a mask, it's like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for keeping me safe. I super appreciate that. Absolutely appreciate it. And that's what we need to do. The time we have to be empathetic. We have to be compassionate. We have to care. And if we care together, we're going to get through this. And I have absolute faith that we're going to get through this. Until next week, take care of you. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.